I got an email from somebody, making me aware of what's going on in South Africa because I've heard nothing, zero, zip, on American news about this really at all, and it's amazing, and yeah. One thing about this, if we play that first clip, it's pay attention to the announcer because he's going to very clearly say that no placards are represented. The story being put out to the world is that the arrest of a former president triggered massive unrest, and that may be the trigger, but I don't think you get crowds of thousands of people raiding warehouses of food warehouses for 3 days straight, just because they're upset that a former president got arrested. There's a big disconnect here, and why? Well, that's an interesting question, but it's just something that came up in the news, and when I was starting to work on the Enbridge stuff, and I got checked my email and I checked this stuff out, and I really couldn't believe it. So why don't we play that first clip there, and
all right.
There are some in South Africa who think this is a political protest, but there were no placards on display in the township of Alexandra. Instead, we witnessed a battle for control waged by police officers using tear gas and rubber bullets, and hundreds of rioters who had taken the opportunity to plunder. And this small detachment were hopelessly outnumbered. Unable to clear the area, the police pushed out, then retreated as the looters grabbed what was left on the shelves.
Everything in this shopping mall of any value has been removed over the course of one furious evening, but there are still people picking through the ruins.
Yeah, I think I read elsewhere that there were 200 shopping malls that were looted like that. And the other day I was watching YouTube, and a live feed came up of Sky News, and they were showing, aerial views of these warehouses being raided. Unbelievable. The center picture is just a picture showing that people are lined up because, it's a state of emergency. One thing the government's doing is saying that these troubles are going to lead to a food shortage. But really, I think a food shortage has kind of caused a lot of these troubles. So what came first, the chicken or the egg? And so there's some spin going on. And the last clip over here, is the current president, and it's pretty short because I cut him just before the politician took over, and I caught him. He starts out with the truth. So.
After 4 days of rioting, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa appeared on television appealing for calm.
Although these may be opportunistic acts of looting driven by hardship and poverty, the poor and the marginalized bear the ultimate brunt of the destruction that is currently underway.
Yep, that's all true. That's where I had to cut him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, very sad situation. One thing that went on, well, here's some, I did some research, and I found out, they started tracking food prices because, as Americans, and probably less so in Germany, but certainly in America, we don't really worry about how much food costs. We may bitch about it, but it's not taking a huge percentage of our budgets. Rent is, we say, much higher, but in other parts of the world, you may go to work, and at the end of the day, half your income may be just going to feed your family, and so that's the situation in South Africa. You've got massive unemployment, which has been aggravated by COVID. The government has done really nothing to help the people, and they've got inflation, and the restrictions they've had a lot of restrictions and no help. Like one of the restrictions is for some reason they decided alcohol was somehow connected to COVID, so they banned, alcohol sales.
Beautiful.
So yeah, so that's the point of this. And we do have one more here. And I was just reminded of the Rodney King riots, because that's what this thing looks like. You're showing these people going into a shopping mall and just taking what they have no hope of getting in their real life, or that they desperately need right now. I don't know. I'm not making excuses for them. It's just a real sad situation that, we should just be aware of. Yeah, so social breakdown.
Yeah.
And there's another piece of news that came up, and that is from an agency in South Africa, which also, no surprise, we don't hear about. But the riots in KwaZulu-Natal triggered a mass die-off of marine life. Basically, they torched some factories and production facilities, and there was a spill of toxins, which caused a huge amount of fish, octopuses, and other marine animals washing off, and it went into the rivers as well as the Pacific to just basically caused a huge environmental damage. Again, those things happen, nobody pays attention. And as our social structure is destabilizing because of other things, that has also an effect on the environment, as you can see.